Yo guys, so we are going to start a reaction about the video of I think somebody interviewing Raf Grassetti, my bad. And I've seen like a clip and I was like, "Oh wait, he's making a video?" And so I am interested in watching really reacting to the process of making God of War, of making the character. So yeah, let's start. Let's get started, honestly.
War for 10 years. One thing that I learned too over the years is there's so many different opportunities that sometimes you don't even know or realize.
You see 80% of it, and then the last 20% may come like as you're working on it.
Yeah.
But you train a lot as well. That's ultimately the most important because you're just doing the art that's not live itself.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for
Might be a
clicking on this
little loud.
episode. If you'd like to see more stuff like this, please consider liking and subscribing and commenting down below. It really does help out the channel. If you guys would like to learn more about drawing and painting and sketching, Rembert has courses on Proko.com called the Ultimate Sketching Course and Practical Perspective. He talks about all of the skills that he uses in his day-to-day professional work in these courses and goes in depth explaining anatomy, proportion, perspective, character design, all that kind of stuff. So if you guys would be interested in either of those, please consider checking out the links below in the description. All of your guys' support really does help us make more content
Shout
like
out.
this, so thank you, and I hope to see you guys there.
I'm here with Raf Grassetti. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you. Man.
We're at Monsterpalooza. You're here every year, right? Or
Every year, yeah, it's been almost a decade.
where did you start? But you started with anatomy, like with humans, and then you went into monsters.
So probably like Monsterpalooza, even because I'm from Brazil, right? I grew up in Brazil. And
Oh
Monsterpalooza was
wait, he's
kinda
Brazilian?
like you
What?
look at online and you see all these creatures. Like I always wanted to be here. So even working with clay, that's how I started, like making clay statues, trying to do some monster stuff. But there's no industry down there for it.
Yeah.
But it was always kind of
Okay.
a goal of mine to like be here. I've always wanted to do creature stuff or more maquettes, not even like, because there's a lot of practical makeup stuff that's here. So more like little
Yeah.
maquettes. And then when I transitioned to ZBrush, I started doing statues. So it kind of like it all worked out. The
Right.
stuff that I have here is more digital stuff. The first Monsterpalooza that I did, I was all traditional.
All right.
Yeah, so it's kind of just seeing, like I was talking to a friend that has been doing this for like 16 years. And it's just, it's funny to see how it transitioned like over the years to do some more
wow.
digital stuff now.
Yeah. Did you feel? You drew first before sculpting?
Yeah, I mean that's the new era right now. Digital. I'm not gonna lie, the fact that everything is turning digital is kind of making me miss really the physical side of things of art really. Um but it might make a comeback too.
Or did you go straight into to sculpting?
I was never like super talented with 2D. It was mostly like going straight into, I mean, I still do some sketches for, ideation, but
Yeah.
a lot of the stuff I just jump in either with clay or, now just ZBrush. And
Fair
then
enough.
back and forth in Photoshop.
When you started, how old were you
Okay,
that you
Photoshop
first had
too.
your Chavant or whatever? Is it just clay or?
I mean, Play-Doh and stuff like that. Since I was really young, like doing Pokemons, but I think 16 is when I got like,
Oh,
To anatomy is like, okay, now I'm gonna build an armature and then put all the clay on top and stuff.
There's a guy in Brazil that had an atelier that we used to go to, like learn how to do molds, just to kind of learn the process of resin and all that stuff. But then sculpting like
wow.
anatomy is more like 16, 17 years old.
Was he the one that taught you that? Or
For the mold stuff, yeah. And then there's this guy named Cicero, which is one of the few guys in Brazil that still do marbles sculpting.
really?
So I did a couple classes. Yeah,
Wow.
like translating the clay sketches into marble. It was like the whole process, right?
That is. Did you ever try marble?
Yeah. But I mean, just like the beginnings of learning the process, because it's like 5 years for you to even touch a stone the way he used to teach.
So it's first clay.
First clay, anatomy, do busts, and then you start teaching how to translate into marble.
Did he teach you like true landmarks, the skeleton first? And you had to learn every bone by name and insertion and origin and stuff?
It's funny, not that much, because you saw with portrait, so it's a little bit like drawing where you just kind of learn the steps.
Yeah.
You don't need to know all the muscles or anything, but like building up the base with right proportions, and then start cutting out the right shapes. And then once you have the solid form, you start adding features.
Yeah.
So that was kind of the
Primary to
first year and a
secondary
half was just
to
that.
tertiary. Honestly, he has like, I mean, obviously, he did God of War, but he has good foundation, and really, it's always fascinating to like see people's like old skill kind of transfer over to new like I guess aspects of art or domains, I guess I should say, going from like doing clay to now making video games and everything. I think is really
So
fascinating.
basic shapes, it's like hips, torso, and how to
Oh my gosh.
connect all of that.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like with drawing, like it's more with landmarks really. Like it's like, okay, here's your clavicle and you've got chromium and it's like etc.
Yeah.
Very similar, yeah.
Because your anatomy is so good and all these, so I was
Yes.
wondering like what would your approach is to like connect all the muscles with a flow and rhythm.
Yeah.
And it's because and you just have a basic shape and then you connect.
I think so.
The
yeah.
muscles to one
I
another.
feel like once you do it enough, it comes down to like a formula. Like once you find, at least for me, what works in terms of
Yeah,
sculpting.
you have
like
a
always do,
workflow.
you cut the rib cage. You add shoulders, and you kind of know your proportions somewhat. But I think at the beginning it was a lot more just like memorizing, the correct ratio and like how to. Digital makes it a little bit easier.
Yeah, I mean, at first you're going by the letter to really understand the logic behind it, really the rules, I guess I should say, of how your human anatomy works. Then that's one of the things I'll say when I was in during my time in CJEP, like every artist that does, for example, stylized work have at least professionals have a very good understanding of anatomy, composition, all these important skills, because they are able to like kind of go against the rules however they want, because they really understand the logic behind it, right? So this is one of the reason I always say, like, this artist that does stylized work is just as good at the one that's doing like a lot of realistic work. But really, I feel like this really applies to people, that have been doing professional work a lot of times. So but yeah, I'm kind of going off subject, but uh really with at least a lot of his artwork I see with the character of Kratos, you can see like this is like I mean, you could kind of see like this is the body of a bodybuilder, somebody who has trained a lot. um he has a very good foundation on really the logic behind the anatomy, the human anatomy.
Because you can move stuff around. But since I started with clay, you have to fail a lot just to like get good at understanding. You see guys like Simon Lee and like people who just like can just cough like a
It's like
figure.
But yeah, he did say he prefers to do creatures, and to do it well, you really need to understand your anatomy.
Some sketches.
Yeah. It's really hard. Like it takes time for sure.
Hey everyone, just doing a quick plug for my courses. We have a perspective course, an ultimate sketching course, where I go over my entire process, how I sketch and how I think about art. So if there's any to the interview, I'm just gonna make something.
Yeah. I mean, definitely not as good as he is, but I think I can mess with it.
It's different. I wouldn't say it's better or worse. I think both of you are.
Yeah, I feel like I need a little more process than he does. Like when I try to do stuff just from just like sketching right there, if I don't have at least like an idea or even like some thumbnails, I would struggle with just like making I guess making the right choice.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
keep
okay.
changing, and then at some point I'm just like either not happy.
Yeah. I mean, everyone has their own process. Sometimes some people have like a hard time to creating good stuff if they don't have a plan beforehand. But there's other type of people where they can kind of just do it on the fly, but that doesn't necessarily mean they're better, because when they're being asked to plan beforehand, um that's when they stick to that strict planning, sometimes they're not really satisfied with the work, or it does not look right. And it's really just to say that everyone has their own process. So him being better at doing uh being able to create better things because he plans is, I don't think, is necessarily wrong. It might be, I'd even say it might even be better, especially for the fact that when it comes to production, um at least the people in the early over you, the higher ups, or really the people that oversee your project, uh they really want to see the logic behind your actions, so you can iterate, um I guess, faster, more specifically, you know, something that somebody that does it on the fly, I guess, uh something they wouldn't do, you know. Not to say that it's also a wrong workflow, because they iterate, the people that do it on the fly also iterate very fast, and they do it quickly, right? They don't need a plan to get into action, really. So yeah, it's just different. That's all I'm saying.
So like having a solid idea and committing to it early on helps me a lot.
Yeah.
Just to,
Same in art. Like it's you see 80% of it, and then the last 20% may come like as you're working on it.
yeah.
But you train a lot as well, so probably a lot of anatomy comes also from being at the gym. It's how they move, you know. If an arm is up, then you know that the bicep is going up.
Oh, I thought when he was talking about like training, I thought he was gonna say like, oh yeah, you draw like every day, you know. Um, I mean, gym can help. Um, like they have been times at the gym where, like, because I've trained and stuff like that, like I understand like anatomy a bit better. But I think it's really the exercise of like analyzing and looking at models that really help you really understand.
And then the tricep is flattened.
It
Try
really
not to be
learning.
creepy about it, but at the gym sometimes when someone is working out, then I look at how the muscle moves without looking too weird, you know.
Yeah, same. I think
It's like,
mostly
oh, that's
on
interesting.
how do you perceive even the muscles in different poses? Like it kind of
Yeah, because the anatomy makes things. Sometimes there's poses that are really tricky, like someone with their arm up. That's always when I be cruel and I want to know if someone knows anatomy. It's like I draw someone with their arm up, and then you can know it's like okay, how much you know. But it's pretty cruel to do.
It is tricky with like all the insertions like under the armpit. And so I worked on God of War for 10 years. I remember the beginnings of production with like Kratos. Like we were going for some like anatomy model, like in just muscle deformations and stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we brought in like a bodybuilder, took a bunch of pictures.
Oh, I was right. Oh my gosh, I was right. Okay. So yeah, it was based on
Understand
bodybuilder.
different poses and turn that into like shapes and all that, because we didn't have like a full-on muscle system, so it was all sculpted like from.
So how did the deformation? Yeah, that must be tricky, especially if an arm goes up.
Oh wait! This is actually
Builder took a bunch of pictures and
cool.
Do understand different poses and turn that into like shapes and all that, because we didn't have.
Okay, so okay. I guess they used blend shapes, really. That's dope. This is one of the reason why I was saying like that tool in Blender is definitely gonna be useful for really a lot of things.
Like a full-on muscle system.
That character DNA, for those that don't know what I'm talking about.
So it was all sculpted like from.
So how did the deformation? Yeah, that must be tricky, especially if an arm goes up.
That
is the trickiest
I feel
part.
like that knowledge like just helped a lot, just to understand the muscles, because we didn't have, like I said, like we didn't have the under muscle structure to like deform correctly. So it was all putting in the pose, sculpting correct, and seeing how it kind of behaves. Because there's also like the skin sliding as well on top of the
Yeah.
Yeah, the muscles are under. So that's in 3D. I don't know a lot about 3D modeling. I'm more of the drawing side of things. But so
Okay, that's okay.
the internal muscles that they deform and they move and stuff, and you have the skin like sliding over it. That's what you're saying.
Yeah.
And deformation is just if it pulls in a weird way that it starts to not
For
look
sure, yeah. Like
appealing anymore.
yeah, you see some like, you know, even when you're starting and people are sculpting the muscles and you kind of see the skin getting pulled, like even the bicep stuff, like skin getting pulled, but the skin stays the same, right? It's just the muscle underneath
Yeah.
traveling. So being able to capture that in 3D without proper muscle system, I feel like
tricky.
Wow.
over the
That's
years you kind
really-
of same thing for like lens shapes and all the facial deformation, like fact systems and all these things that behind the scenes, it's a lot of work.
Initially, when you concept
Yeah.
the 3D art, you don't think about the rigging yet, because you're just purely thinking about the shapes. And then afterwards, you worry about the rigging, or at the start.
No, for games, most of the time we establish the rigs that we have or the archetypes. And then at that point, you're working on top of existing rigs. So like even for
Yeah, I'm guessing with production, they also like already give you like a base mesh and stuff like that. But that's definitely interesting what he said, like how like they didn't have this system at first, so they really had to do like every single pose, the different poses. That's crazy. I did not know
creatures,
that.
there's only a certain amount of rigs that we can afford. At least for all the games that I worked on, because it's really expensive. You have to do all the locomotion for different rigs, and when it's just bipedal humans, it's, you know, you can do whatever if it's a human. But once you get into the realms of creatures and stuff,
Especially if they have 6 legs or something.
Yeah, okay. So that's an interesting tidbit to like know about, especially like how they reuse like certain assets. Probably you're reusing old assets from like other games. So I'm guessing for this they reuse like a old like locomotive tool or something, and try to reuse it for God of War. You know, I mean, it makes sense. You know, you're not trying to waste time trying to save money.
And I think that's
Makes
really.
sense.
archetypes for sure.
So when to go back to Brazil, actually, I wanted to go like what was your first job in?
Oh wait, this makes me think. Hold on. A lot of the enemies in God of War, obviously some of them are more human-like, but like not all of them. Like this just makes me really think of the amount of work they've put in.
In the US, and how did you get it? Like, because that's always a funny story for us. We are not from the US.
Yeah.
It always, for me, it felt like a dream. It's like, that's too far, I can never go there. You know, sort of like the US, California, forget it.
Yeah.
So how did you actually, was it a festival recruiter, or
No,
reached out online?
I mean, it was definitely different times back then, because it's been a good 16 years, something like that, that I've been here. I started working just freelancing from Brazil. I'm sure like everybody starts that way. And I slowly built a portfolio, and I got some offers back then that didn't quite work out because it wasn't enough to sponsor a visa. So then I ended up moving to Canada first.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Spent a year
Wait,
and a half
what?
in Montreal. So
Wait, what? What the? Oh my gosh. Wait, he was in Montreal? Wait, this is crazy. What? I did not know that. This man, Raf Grassetti, he was in Montreal? Oh my gosh, damn. Could have met the GOAT.
worked at
So
BioWare.
cold.
Sponsor a visa. So then I ended up moving to Canada first.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Spend
Yeah, when you're Canada is a lot easier to like get into than USA. So
a year and a half in Montreal. So I worked at Bio.
okay, 1 year.
It was very cold, yeah. And Sony, was starting a studio or he was trying to start a studio in Brazil. That didn't quite work out because of Brazil's,
Sure.
legislative regulations or whatever. But I interviewed with the guy down there even before I moved to Canada. And then when I was in Canada, he actually made an offer for me to go to San Diego, come to the US.
Oh, you were first in San Diego?
Yeah. So
where at in San Diego? Like Miramar or like Miramar?
That's where the Sony office is.
Oh wow.
So I worked there. Well, it all kind of worked out, like I said, at different times. I think from Canada was easier to get the visa. So
because you first got the visa and because US and Canada. Okay.
Yeah, so that kind of was way faster. Like, the process that would take 6 months since I was in Canada was like a month and a half, 2 months.
Because if you were coming from Brazil, it would have taken a year.
You have to do a lot more paperwork.
Yeah.
You have to prove out because I came in with the 01.
Yeah. That's exactly what I was saying. Like, really getting paperwork to Canada compared to the US is a lot easier, especially like with the US. Like, it'd be even easier if you like had people like but even then, if they don't want to like I guess vouch or anything, shit makes like it's a lot harder. I'm not gonna lie, but yeah.
Okay.
I did not
So
know
it's
he
kinda,
was.
you know how it is. Like, you have
he
to
went
do
to
all the-
Canada.
Unfortunately.
all the interviews
So wait, he might speak French. Wait, Raf Grassetti might speak French.
and awards and all that stuff.
Maybe.
Migration lawyers.
Yep. Yeah.
But
Thankfully, Sony did all that for me. So then when I came here, it was like from San Diego, I moved to Santa Monica for Santa Monica studio, and then I was there for like 10 years.
Quickly interjecting, a lot of you that are viewing this are not subscribed. It's a small thing you can do.
Wait.
And it goes work. This first was contract work for the company. Then
Yo, I already subscribed, bro.
brought you to Canada, 01, to
Sure.
San Diego,
Yes.
and then to Santa Monica.
It was a journey for sure.
Yeah, that a journey of how long till you were in Santa Monica was like 6 years?
Something like four and a half,
4.5 years. Yeah.
Okay.
something like that.
Because it's interesting for people to know that if you're not, it's kind of tricky to get in the US, like especially now. I think for me at Riot, it took 2 years to get them get the visa going. So
How long ago was that?
2016 I started for Riot, and in 2018 they got me into the States. But it took a while. And
Oh wow, that's crazy. Yeah. I'm not honestly. I'm saying that's crazy, but I'm not even like actually surprised. And even now, it's like it's definitely harder, especially with all the ice situation happening.
that's so it's not like you're gonna get hired immediately. And I mean, there are cases like that, but I think the more stories I hear, it's like you go around a little bit first.
Yeah, you definitely want like even in your case, I guess, you were working with them before.
Well, contract work. It was just like usually a day or two a week.
Yeah.
And then they went three days, and then full time for 6 months, and then
Yeah.
extended it, and
I feel like back in the day, like it was hard to find like skilled people. So companies would like invest a lot easier in like talent.
yeah,
Nowadays, there's like so many.
there's so much.
There's a lot of people available. So for you to come from
Yeah. And this is like I guess a issue currently in the industry, how like people are fully saying like there are no entry level job for the industry, because even when we're talking about like junior positions, they're like you need like 1 year of experience, which at this point 1 year or even like some 3 is just like, oh, at this point are you even a junior still? And it's the fact that there is that many talent, but also I'll kind of throw something against this. There is so much information available right now where like everybody can learn. Anyone can like pick up a pen and start drawing, and then level up over to 3D, or somebody can get their part-time job, save up, and like get a PC and start immediately modeling and learn from YouTube, um so it's like, yeah, it's definitely a lot harder to get into it, but also there is a lot of like good educational stuff out there where you can get better very easily.
Elsewhere, like you really need to
It
stand
just
out, or
takes
you need to be
time.
working with the company, because it's also hard to find talented people that fit. But yeah, it's like, for the company to invest and spend the money and bring you, it takes long too, like at least 3 months. So it needs to, really align with all the expectations. So anybody who can get
Yeah.
in from, abroad, I think it helps just to get one step in.
Did you ever, like, you're an art director now? So when you hire people that are really talented, do you usually like contract with them a little bit the same beforehand, like to see who this person is? So my question was more like, did you yourself, when you look at portfolios and when you hire them, do you usually do some contract work with them first, or?
I mean, it
Oh,
varies.
okay.
Depends on what the company, what kind of spots are available.
Yeah.
Like we just
Yeah.
had a couple full-time recs that open. So then you look at different types of portfolios.
Yeah.
Because then you're looking more of like, not just, the final piece of work, is more about like their thought process, like what do they like, if they're going to be happy in the company, if that, if the goals kind of align in terms of future, because you're investing in that person, if you want to bring into the team. So it's more of that process of like, okay, what has this person has done before? Has he
Yeah.
worked in the studio before? Has they even
Yeah.
like to be in the studio? If it's more of a contract role, then it's more about just the quality of work, and it doesn't
Right.
really matter as much about like past experiences and whatnot. It's just more like, hey, can you do this? For usually 3 to.
Okay, so with contract works, it really is really dependent on quality, the performance in itself. But I guess full time is a lot more intricate, really figuring out the person's values and if they're even fit in to work in a corporate type of job. Okay.
6 months, can you just be fast and help us ship this thing, or help achieve the task? So it varies. Like often when we have full-time recs, it's just a lot more of that conversation, and interview takes a lot longer.
Yeah.
Contracts, at least at Naughty Dog, is where I am now.
Yeah.
It happens way fast. Like when I was at Santa Monica, it used to take a while because Sony
is like a whole machine.
Yeah, the contract takes a long time, and then there's, even for a contract, you have to do this whole like background check, and it's
Yeah.
if you're not in the U.S., then you have to go through companies that are not in the U.S. to like even hire people. So it takes a while. So that all you have to take in consideration. Like if we need someone like as soon as possible, that's why if someone is here, even if they're not in the studio, just the fact that they're here, the process will go a lot faster. So we have to make those calls sometimes, just depending on what the project needs.
For me, like when I worked more with the animation, like they just looked at a demo reel for like 8 seconds, and they said, like the analogy with the Corvette earlier, it's like you don't need to stare at a Corvette for like a minute and realize it's a Corvette. Like usually portfolios are like,
Yeah.
can do it or not. It's like,
Oh yeah.
it's like in 5 seconds
Yeah.
you see it, right?
Sure.
So
Yeah, this is another thing. I mean, not really, I guess, an issue, but it it kind of shows the importance of presentation in a portfolio and how it really needs to be striking off the bat, or they'll just pass it on real quick. I mean, that's the reality of things, really. So, kind of have to adapt.
Even with the style of the work, like
yeah,
sometimes we need people to do ideation. Maybe you need like the creative person just is going to come in, do a lot of sketches, help us brainstorm, and you can tell, just by looking real fast at a portfolio if the person is right for that.
yeah. You don't like, because you have hundreds and hundreds that you have to go through, and then I have to say I haven't been, when I did that at Riots, when we hired people, I was always just like the couple first images, like, okay, because there's so many and I don't want to spend all day looking at portfolios because I got work to do as well afterwards.
Yeah, you need a recruiter to, so usually we do a meeting with recruiting, just to be like, here's kind of what we're looking for. And, you know, you just trust a few recruiters that they're going to do a nice job. But more than often, it's like usually we get hundreds of applications, but sometimes the applications are just, or even the job offer in the website is just to fill the need of something.
Yeah.
But more than often, it usually comes from someone that knows someone. Or,
Yeah, it's more like I know someone
Yeah.
that works there.
Yeah.
Like most, I actually,
Oh my god, but I think this is I mean that's every job, but like the fact that right now in the industry we are so dependent on like finding a connection that's gonna put you through and give you a chance in the industry is like I don't know, like is not really the state of the industry that I like. It's not very dependent on the talent itself, but very dependent on who you know.
have never gotten a job in my career by applying on the website. It was always someone that recommended me or somebody.
Yeah.
I've heard of stories that people actually got jobs through the website, but maybe that's like very discouraging to hear. But I hear very seldom of people actually getting work through the website.
Usually I recommend even from like friends of mine, like, yes, you should apply because you need your name in the system, but you should always try to reach out. Like, if you know the person who's hiring, you know, try to find a mutual friend or just reach out, and if it's a match, it's going to be a match. Like if it's not, you shouldn't be like pressuring the person to like hire me.
It's like, hey, spamming them on LinkedIn.
Yeah, every time say, yeah, see another role come up. Like, what about me? What about me? It's just more.
Yeah.
You show like progress of you working towards that goal. Like either do works that are related to the company. Because if you don't have that, it's just really hard to judge. Like even okay, you know, start doing the job even if you're not there. I think that helps.
That's so interesting about you because your work was so good that you didn't need to go to festivals and get like people that you actually know because they just looked at you and they hired you as contract and then they got you over. So
Different times.
Different time.
Different times.
Well, I'll give you more credit than that. It's you've always been really talented, like your earlier work and everything. So
Appreciate it.
so nowadays, because it is a different time, I would recommend people to actually go to places like this and meet people. I think the time that you just put up awesome portfolio online and expect to get work is it probably still exists, but it's so much more smaller because the internet is like that was at the time of CG Hub and stuff. If you remember that, way back.
Yeah, before ArtStation.
Before ArtStation, like. I think the people that wanted to work in this industry and that knew it existed, because now you have, I think when I started out, there wasn't a concept art school in Europe at all. That's why I studied animation. And in Brazil, like there's no concept art, so traditional sculpting and stuff.
Yeah, even that it was a gamble. Like I started with just advertising, doing ads and stuff, being in the studio. And this was before even ZBrush was out. And when ZBrush came out, that's opened more doors for game development in general. So it's kind of like more of a lucky in some ways. But to your point, like even when you come to these things, sometimes it's not even like meeting the people who are showing work. It's just the artists who are also here with the same goal. Like you get to know other people from mutual friends and, you know, start to create a little community. And from one, like if someone get a job, like usually they'll bring you, you know, pull you with you.
No, it's better to find people of your same age who are at the same point in their path. Because if you really start to try talking to like famous artists, whatever that means, they're grumpy, cynical, jaded. Anyway, they are somewhere completely else, and it's harder to grow together or communicate or expect something because they have a full-time job, they have families. Like, but if you're a student, it's better to find other people that are. Yeah, I agree with that. Like the community that the little circle which Thierry was part of, and so it's better to sort of grow together.
Definitely, yeah.
But you need like someone. For me, there was one person that gave me a chance. So you need that one person, and after you get your first job, and then it's easier to get more jobs after that, but it's landing that first one that
Yeah.
is the most difficult.
And one thing that I learned too over the years is there's so many different opportunities that sometimes you don't even know or realize. Like I know a lot of people, they're always aiming for like a Blizzard job or something that's like, oh, I want that, right? Like that's kind of the peak of the mountain. And in reality is that there's a lot of different types of opportunities. Like even this year, there's like YouTubers and like just more people doing like short films, like independent stuff. Like that's the stuff that I feel like you need some community to even be involved in, understanding that there's more opportunities than just, you know, the studio
The
job.
AAA, yeah.
So I think
That
that
is
is
true.
super valuable just to even see how people are even getting to do that.
Because you went independent a lot too, right? Like you do a lot of stuff, you teach as well.
Yeah.
You sell your anatomy sculptures,
Yeah.
and that's all on the side. So it's, as an artist, you can't expect to have just one source of income that is a job. You need to.
Totally, yeah. I mean, even for just fulfillment, like at the end of the day, the studio job is just a job.
Yeah.
Like that stuff that I do on my own time, like you do like your books and sketching, is like that stuff. It's I think, you know, even after all the years, that's kind of what you carry with you. Like after you're done in a project, you just jump to another project. This is another project. It's always this kind of like,
Right.
it never ends. Like you think you're gonna get some fulfillment by the end
It's
of
like,
it. But
oh, if I have this title or this salary, I'm gonna feel fulfillment. But probably the one thing you get the most fulfillment out is like, this is my own book, or this is my own, my line of sculptures, or
you don't look back
this-
and
yeah.
feel like you did stuff that you know, you like put this stuff out there. Because the studio stuff is like, yeah, you get maybe a couple months of like, I did it.
Yeah.
You know, I'm on some time off, but then you're like
my
right back
name's
at
in the
it.
credits here.
Yeah, you know, like right back at it. It's like, it's not,
Yeah.
you know, I'm not trying to, you know, obviously I think it's mostly the fun who you're working with, like the people who you're working
Yes.
with. You know, at the end of the,
Absolutely.
throughout the years, it's kind of what you carry with you. Like even here, there's a lot of coworkers that now are doing the show. It's like awesome to see, just building up that community and I guess inspiring more people to put their stuff out there and just don't rely too much on like the studio job. This is more the people who you're working with and making cool stuff, you know, feeling that fulfillment that way in the school.
Mostly even if the card game that I worked on at Riot, which kind of like doesn't have a huge player count, but working on it was super fun. So it doesn't really. So that to me was one of a pleasant experience on working on it. It doesn't matter if the project is good or well. It just depends on like.
Totally.
Like you're 8-9 hours a day if you're crunching 10 or more in the studio.
Yeah.
And then it's more about who you work with. So that is ultimately the most important because you're just doing the art that's not live itself. I mean, it's very.
Yeah, especially like I remember when I think I've said it in another video, but when I was doing Moon of Damned, doing like a lot of these meetings, they were long, but it was so much fun. But I think they were like what 8 hours, 10 hours, sometimes 12 hours, like the when I'm saying the meetings, we were basically doing the meeting, then the meeting would end and we would continue to work together, right? And the calls would last like multiple hours basically, and even though these were long hours, it was still fun. It was still enjoyable.
Important, it's very fun, but it's the people you work with. So I'm glad you pointed that out.
For sure. Yeah.
So you got to be a pleasant person.
I've learned that throughout the years, for sure. Like, obviously, there's time that you need to be heads down and working, and like you need to be. If you're there, like at least I believe in this. If you're there, that you need to be committed to like being there. But it's not like there's moments, right? Like after you experience that, then you have to make time for your stuff.
Yeah.
And just feel like you're progressing that way. Yeah.
It's important. I think it also prevents burnout doing your own stuff. Because after a while, I was like, what am I doing? I have all these titles shipped, but I don't feel fulfilled, you know?
Yeah.
And your personal work will give that fulfillment.
Yeah. Can't rely on the studio to like give you everything you want. It's also not their responsibility. Like, the studio needs to survive. And it is about, at the end of the day, making a product. So when you can do, like, you saw some of the statues that I was making.
Yeah.
That to me, when I make time to do it, it's like even before the show, it's like I don't have time to do stuff. The last month, I was trying to put some stuff together, and I just reminded me like how good it feels to do that. So I just try to do more.
They look amazing. Is there a way that people can find those such, buy them online as well on
Yeah,
your website?
Instagram
Yeah.
is probably the best way
Okay.
to just Raf Grassetti. Yeah.
Awesome.
Okay.
Well,
Thank you.
for doing this little chat.
Thank you.
I
Man. It's
really
always good to see
appreciate it.
you. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a good interview. Honestly, how he explained how he got the job and his process in making characters, how he improved as an artist was all interesting, and I love the I love this interview, especially like I'm a big fan of him. I do follow him on Instagram, so yeah, this was pretty cool.